In the case of Floyd v. New York City, the constitutionality of stop and frisk is being questioned. And I like that it's being questioned because obviously 90% of the stop and frisks are done on minorities, blacks and Latinos. So there are a number of people that are testifying in this case, and one person who's testifying is Senator Eric Adams. And he basically claims that back in 2010, Police Commissioner Ray Kelly claimed that they were doing stop and frisks on minorities on purpose. Okay, so let me tell you what his exact testimony was. He says NYPD Commissioner Kelly stated that he targeted and focused on that group because he wanted to instill fear in them that every time that they left their homes, they could be stopped by police.
Man, if that is true, and there's no reason to doubt him in this case, right? Because he's putting a lot on the line by saying that about the police commissioner, a lot. Mm-hmm. That's a huge risk to take, right? You just, man, that's devastating, devastating quote. Now, you might think like, Jen, come on, what are you, naive? You didn't know that's what they were doing? It's not about that. It's about everybody else knowing. Because if you ask, if you ask the police commissioner now and the mayor, it's us? No, we love blacks and Latinos. The citizens of our fine city here, absolutely not. They would be outraged and all this fake outrage, etc. But behind the scenes, I mean, think about that, man. Look, Anna told you 90% of the stop and frisks are on minorities. But those are disproportionate with number of minorities in New York City. Now, the number of minorities are somewhere in the ballpark of about 50%. I think they're a little less. I think they're in the 40s, right? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But think about that. Nearly half of your city is Latinos and blacks, and you think, I'm going to put fear in their heart.
Right.
You assume that nearly 50% of your city are criminals based on their race, and that your job is not to protect them, but to put fear in their heart.
Yes. Adams actually serves New York's 20th district, and he says that he's had numerous situations where young black people will come to his office and say, this is happening to me. Is this right? Did they legally search me? And he says some black boys will come in and say, look, authorities searched me in my private parts. I feel like I was violated. I didn't have any drugs on me. I didn't have any weapon on me. I didn't do anything wrong. There was, no suspicious activity happening. And this is what, this is what's going on. Is it right? Is it legal? And unfortunately, this is continuing to happen. And I'm glad that there's a case that's addressing this and addressing the constitutionality of it, so we can actually finally address the problem and realize that this is wrong. These are not the type of searches that authorities should be doing.
And look, man, it's, how we talk about drone strikes in Pakistan, Yemen, and how it puts fear into everybody.
Yes.
Because we oftentimes hit people that we don't know who we're hitting, so it becomes almost like random. You're being shocked over and over again. Well, that's what's happening to minorities who stop and frisk in New York City. They're not being killed, but constantly you stop and you're assumed to be a criminal, you're shaken down, you're harassed, and this is supposed to be your city. Again, they're supposed to be protecting you, and they're doing the exact opposite. And it's just a goddamn crime what they do.
Right,
and I guess from their perspective, they're like, well, if we protect a couple of white people, and the price for that is intimidating half of our population, well, who cares, right? Well, we were just a little extra safer for white people. And these are the same guys who have the same, headquarters in downtown where they, have the video cameras set up, et cetera. And they're in the same building as JP Morgan and all the different banks. So, and then the commissioner gets money from the banks for his different organizations, which winds up throwing lavish parties, et cetera, et cetera. So who are they? They're here to protect. They're not here to protect us. They're here to protect and serve, the rich people in Manhattan who pay for all their stuff. So they're not our police force. And so, you say that, I guess that's controversial in New York, and they would be outraged. Well, we're outraged by your goddamn actions.